It has been, indeed. And it's all because of this, the fact we're having these cross-region matchups. As you can see on screen now, Dahang clashes against Vengeur. This is in the lower bracket side of things, as Dahang was bested earlier on today. He will face off versus Vengeur. Vengeur's lower bracket slog throughout the European side of things back on day 1 and day 2 was ridiculous. We actually have quite some tasty little picks that have been snuck in here as well. Slash for Dahang, Athena for Vengeur. We got a clutch at the end if we get that far, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Flea, what are your opening thoughts?
I mean, we're gonna start off with a Quake game, that's for sure. So much mobility, the Slash versus Athena on Blood Covenant. We know that Blood Covenant is one of the best maps to play Athena on, and Dahang obviously a master of the crouch sliding with the Slash, so that's gonna be extremely explosive. Moving on into Corrupted Keep, we've got the Galena versus the BJ, very standard. Veil of Nav is gonna be Ranger versus Ice, and so a lot of mobility for Vengeur on one of the most vertical maps in the pool. Then Awoken, gonna see Sorlag versus Visor, and then the last one, that is going to be one of the most interesting ones indeed. If we get to that point, two heavies duking it out on Molten Falls, Scale versus Clutch, it's gonna be an interesting one.
A hype matchup in the making for that final map, but the question I really want to ask you guys is, do we realistically think we're going to get that far? Vengeur has been having the losers bracket run from hell, and he's continuing to just tear it up, hence, I mean, he's here in the first place, right? But after looking at Cypher versus Dahang, Dahang hasn't looked all there today. He has definitely seemed a little bit off, and we haven't, obviously are yet to see Vengeur, but I'm going into the series quite concerned about Dahang, it has to be said.
I would agree with you, Ryan. I'm a little bit worried for his livelihood throughout the course of this series. I reckon Vengeur will come out swinging, looking for blood straight from the beginning. He's wanted to prove that he can take higher and higher in placements every finals we've had for the Quake Pro League, so I wouldn't be surprised if he impresses us once again here. Blood Covenant starts now. Dan, it's a best of 5, and I'm just curious to see what things Vengeur's going to do, because he's a bit of a madman at the best of times.
Yes, I'm excited to watch him. I don't imagine we're going to be getting any more crazy overtimes from him, and I do expect him to walk away with the victory in this one. Hopefully Dahang, as we've all referred to, does come out to play a little bit better than he was earlier in the day. And he does start on the Slash, which is exactly what he needs to be doing if he wants to make that happen.
Fast and furious into things then. Already roaming around, using full advantage of that Slash momentum. Actually does try and halt the pace immediately though, playing for the audio cues towards middle, then readjusts to grab a railgun, so his arsenal's getting better and better. Here comes our first altercation between the both of them. Rocket barrages across the board, but none of them tag. Now, just so everyone's aware of the standpoint on this is Vengeur's server pick. It will then be Dahang's, and it will rotate back and forth from that point forward. Oh my. Dan, this is disgusting. The rail work being done from Dahang is clearly carrying on from the series we had versus Cypher, as he's not missing a trick at the minute. Shot after shot, he's landing! He does not miss a rail!
That's the start he wanted. That was crisp, Jackie.
Mate, that was better than crisp. That's just disgusting in so many different levels. Was that like 5 rails, one after another?
Yeah, Vengeur obviously didn't expect that, and will definitely need to reassess what he is doing against Dahang, because Dahang doesn't want to go home today.
No, he doesn't. He needs to keep up this ridiculous form he's just had with that rail. He's been hot on it all day, so it's good to see it wasn't a fluke. Still hitting those shots. That will win him the fight against Vengeur for control of the heavy, as whilst that pickup goes straight into his back pocket.
We do know that Vengeur is exceptional on the defense, so Dahang is going to need to continue to play that rail game to lock him down. Not having the nicks as he had yesterday though, the Athena is slightly more vulnerable in that aspect, but the grapples are very powerful themselves, and Vengeur hits back-to-back rockets. Dahang goes down.
Oh my. Oh no, Dahang! All he had was the rail. That was his only lifeline into the game. And he just takes it to Vengeur. This is going to be an absolutely ridiculous series. I can already feel it in my jelly.
Yes, it is going pretty good already. I do imagine it will start steady down a little bit. Dahang swapping to the HMG just to try and get a bit more damage. He can't get away from this. Vengeur's not going to let him, as they're both hitting some ridiculous shots off the bat of this start game.
Vengeur straight in with a rocket.
All right.
Shot after shot, blows him down, chaining a couple of kills together. That is the scary bit, because both of these boys are just so damn good on a railgun. Obviously, Vengeur had the 26-minute rail of a lifetime in yesterday's games versus Tox. Now he needs to hit a lot more of them consistently. Already he has a 1 frag lead. It's a 2-3 split. And we're only 3 minutes in, so high octane has certainly been the flavor of the game with these two.
Oof, that was nice from Dahang. Using the plasma trail above, realizing that Vengeur wasn't going to push through there and had one entry point nearly connected with a full rocket.
The grapples to send himself flying. Oh, Cheeky pigs. Naughty stuff already with this railgun from Vengeur. He's swinging aggressively into these angles that are working quite well. Back again, playing for the audio towards middle. The adjustment is there as he knows Dahang had set a course towards heavy, and he's making it heavy artillery. He's got to get past if he wants to claim it. The pixel shot as well on the getaway. Vengeur, calm it down.
Yeah, because of that, he has managed to win himself a couple of major items here, trying to push in on Dahang, and Dahang is a little bit stuck out in the open. Easy frag for Vengeur. Nicely worked.
It's very precise at the minute. Like, all of the shots we're actually seeing coming out, no matter if it's rocket, rail, or LG, it's all just hitting. And the scare tactics are fantastic. He's using this Athena really, really effectively to repurpose himself and rotate around the map so much quicker, get ahead of Dahang. And he just has to run away because his stack's just nowhere near as good. I mean, what is this, like the third rotation of items he's taken? Pretty much scot-free.
Exactly, and it's really good to see the versatility coming out from Vengeur. Obviously, we've seen a huge amount of defensive play from him over the course of yesterday, but realizing he has the upper hand and can take the game to Dahang, he's doing it particularly well. It's a very balanced approach from the young Italian.
Tri-bolt spam coming out. All of it detonating in the face of Vengeur, but he still wins the item, and that's the prize that he really had his gaze locked on. Keeping up these mass rotations. Goes back towards heavy. We could have another fight on our hands, but he actually reads it well. He realized Dahang was up to no good. His shenanigans have been sniffed out. He chases him down, and he's looking to capitalize off the back of this. Fully committing into fighting here. Readjust towards mid, but Dahang just stuck to his guns. Sat in position by the rail.
And you can see, just as you mentioned, Jackie, how impactful the use of that grapple is to create angles that other champions just wouldn't be able to have against Slash and that speed. So Vengeur's using it to perfection at the moment to really open up these engagements.
Yes, the map traversal was unreal, but it's how quickly he can get back into a fight to re-engage. That's the first time we've actually seen it be a little bit of a mistake from him, but he still wins the item. 6 major item rotation, are both of them going his way now, maybe? This is just pure madness, and the rockets could finally be the shutdown as Dahang. He's quick, but he's not fast enough to evade that.
No, and it was just excellent play from Vengeur to track Dahang around the map, make his move like a panther chasing his prey.
Well, he's styling on him as well. You can see, like, the confidence is absolutely there just by the way he's playing it, Dan.
Yeah. That's a good sign for Maestro.
Certainly is the last shining light in the tournament for the organization. He is trying to do as best as he can. Again, distantly winning all of the major items. He has had everything he could want. He is spoilt for choice. Aggressive initiation with the rockets, and the rail transition is even better. Oh, 7-2. He's bloating this scoreline ridiculously out of hand, and shot after shot, he is firing off some of the most rambunctious rails I've ever seen.
My word, you can just feel the confidence oozing from him as he's got the best of Dahang at every turn, and ever since he's got control, this match has just been firmly in his grasp. Yes, it was a chaotic Fume opening, but as you said, Jackie, as soon as he had those rotations, he locked down the map, kept the pressure on Dahang, and has used those grapples to keep the pressure on relentlessly.
Well, that's the biggest point, right? Is obviously being on a light champion, if you don't have those major items, you don't have anything. Your sustenance is at an all-time low. And Vengeur, even though he's up against a Slash, you wouldn't really realize it because his grapple has been so much more effective as repositioning utility than even the sheer speed of Slash can be. At least Dahang's doing some damage back, but he's going to have to bite down twice as hard to get into the game. That is a much-needed kill, but now you have to get the rotation in your favor and push hard.
Yes, but that final fadeaway rail from Vengeur did indeed hurt, because although Dahang did pick up the Mega, he's got less of a stack than Vengeur because of the fact he is a light champion. That is a good rail, though. Vengeur is on the ropes, but that rail will stall Dahang as he cannot afford to give away a single frag in spite of needing another 6 of his own.
He's got to fight consistently as well, and he's not really been given too many chances to. Also, Vengeur could just run if he wants to. That is a completely viable strategy from this point forward.
Well, we know he's very good at that, so I would imagine he would do that. Obviously, at all points you want to keep some degree of pressure on, because if you just open the map up, Dahang will take it with 2 hands, but with only a minute to go, I don't think that matters too much. That's a great well from Dahang. Vengeur's a little bit stuck. That wasn't the ideal retaliation from Dahang. A lot lower. He thought it was a lot lower than he actually was. I just think it's definitely a stretch too far now, Jackie. 50 seconds to go, 10 seconds of frag, that's just not possible. So well played, Vengeur, as he goes on and takes this first map.
Oof. Railgun ripping its way through Vengeur, but yeah, there's no more that can be done here, really. It's just a couple of extra lines at the end of this already finished book, as Vengeur will walk away with the victory here on the opening map. Looked so dominant as well. When he was actively making those rotations around the map and just being able to leave Dahang with nothing to play with,
yeah,
it was wild. Some great
Dahang obviously opened up the strongest we've seen him all weekend. Those 4-5 rails in a row back to back was incredible. And he did that a couple of times in a row, but it just settled down. Vengeur took control, and then it was just methodical. He kept pressure on relentlessly and showed us why he's such a highly regarded player. Obviously, we saw him very much on the back foot yesterday, but flipping it on its head today, the most proactive we've seen him, and he's just proven how great he can be.
Yeah. It's absolutely miraculous just how much damage he did, and obviously that's reflected as well in terms of the item pickups. It wasn't that far bloated towards the end. Dahang actually got a little bit of control back in his favor. It was only 3 or 4 items either side, but still, it was that middle portion of the game where Vengeur just went supernova and ran away with it. That was his server pick, meaning that Dahang will get a choice of a North American server into our second map.
Yes, and that is obviously good for him. He needs to settle himself. He hasn't had the best opening of the day, and it will be Corrupted Keep as well, which is going to be a good map for him to press his advantage on. Not winning on the Slash would definitely hurt, though. It's the one, we've spoken about it extensively, it definitely enables him and his playstyle, but at the same time, Corrupted Keep is a good map to keep the pressure on Vengeur, so it's definitely now on Vengeur's shoulders to see how he can adapt to the change of scenery without the rail, without the Athena, being on Dahang's server, Dahang's on the Blashkovich, so slightly more varied approach, I think, from Vengeur now.
I'm worried for Tim though, because like honestly, it seems like the railgun has been one of his biggest crutches in a lot of the encounters he's been into. Like all day throughout the tournament, even back in day 1 and day 2, right? Like he was precise with it. He was being able to get a lot of openings into games purely off that rail. Going into Corrupted Keep, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this was Vengeur's keep.
Yeah, no, me neither. I mean, as Cypher said earlier, right? Like, if you hit your rails, it's so difficult for your opponent. It makes it sound quite so easy, but it's true. If you're stringing those rails back to back and your opponent has no retaliation, it just it gives you a free reign of the map, and that's why I'm always most interested to watch maps like Corrupted Keep that don't have that utility, because it brings out the true qualities of a jeweler. And it's also why not a lot of people enjoy playing it, because it is that much more tense and hard. So Vengeur's gonna have a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but with the Galena, he's got the additional resources with the totems to play around that's particularly strong on this map, and giving him that extra stack to work with will help him in those combat situations as well.
Yeah, well, the little pocket heal, you can
Exactly,
also
yeah.
obviously use it as a bit of a nuisance maker if you want to throw it down at an awkward angle. We see a lot of players tend to drop it behind the portal, the little pop out by the statue by Mega Health, so quite a few things that can be done with it. I don't know how many times as well we've seen BJ versus Galena on Keep. That's got to be one of the most played matchups, I feel like me and you have seen that.
Yeah, and it's obvious why they're both incredibly strong. There's obviously a lot of close combat engagements on this map, and that's where these two champions thrive, as you rightly say, with the pocket heals, the additional damage here and there. It's a complete nuisance, whereas BJ, you always have that fallback of two weapons to work with, which can just shred your opponent. So it's no wonder they're so impactful. The only other one I would throw into the mix would be the Strog, but we're not seeing that right now.
Well then, here we are. The liquid lunatic of Dahang, be able to liquidate his opponent in Vengeur. The LG comes out and it starts to shred through the Maestro Mandem, and he will fall in the end. It was the HMG that laid the final killing blow onto Vengeur as he falls short in the opening encounter.
Yep, and already emphasising why it's such a powerful pick on this particular map. Something we didn't talk about is how important the HMG is definitely going to be for both of these players. I think it was Tox that was using it to perfection yesterday, so it's really one of the key definitive qualities that separates people on this map is how well you can do damage in the mid-range. Vengeur sneaks away on the low ground to pick up that Mega. Dahang trying to trap him, not working out.
It's a shame he didn't actually get those shots off as well. That tri-bolt looked relatively close to landing on his back spam when he got on the Mega. Ooh. His LG certainly hitting though, all of those tags coming through. The pre-fire rockets were
Oh no,
nicely
Dahang's missed the
calculated.
heavy!
He knocked him back through the portal, denies him getting the heavy. Vengeur, he's got off so luckily in that outcome.
Yeah, Dahang missing the heavy. Not sure entirely how that happened, but Vengeur's not going to complain as now he gets the full reign in the map, and Dahang needs to be careful. He has popped the jewel very early, but it's not going to matter as nothing connects to this Vengeur striding through the doorway.
Oh my. He's still hitting as well. Whoa. Confidence is right there, but he takes a ton of damage, and Dahang spams out those rockets so aggressively. One by one, they're all slamming and impacting into the chest of Vengeur, leaving him looking like a crater as he dangles on the top rope. The rockets will at least hold Dahang back, but he loses the major item, and he might have lost confidence.
Yeah, epic rockets from Dahang up on the bridge there. Nice air rockets, setting Vengeur back ever so slightly, but Dahang did get the Mega health. It's not going to matter. Dahang overcommitting for that heavy, slightly too early. Vengeur more than ready for it. Already this map is really beginning to spin out of control as Dahang is going to go down again. He survives, but at what cost, Jackie?
Shoreline is beginning to bloat. Vengeur spots out Dahang once more, reading him with the rockets as he tries to telegraph where exactly he was going. Again, it's about the MG gunning that will do the damage, though. Rips
And
his
he's
way
got the
through.
overstack already. How has he done that?
Totem placement's been sneaky, mate. He's been quick on the draw. He's also been hoovering up any hourglasses he can find, and actually could have a fifth frag already, just mere seconds into the game. Dahang's so low, he's had to back off, go for a couple of lights or whatever he can find on the way out. Vengeur's living it large.
He has lost track of Dahang for a few seconds, so he manages to get up onto that landing gown, but it's not going to matter. Dahang is so low relative to Vengeur.
Vengeur can commit to this fight as well because he had the pocket heal in the totem, drops it, then peeks back out. It didn't matter that Dahang was matching him blow for blow on the overall damage because he'll just heal that one off, then finally get that frag. Dahang is taking all of these fights from behind the statue, trying to play the awkward off angle where he can just peek his head out.
It feels like Dahang is playing to Vengeur's tempo as well. Like Vengeur wants to play this fast because he's got the lead, and Dahang is struggling to slow it down. You can see him trying to take the initiative once again, but the execution is just not there. 5 frags already for the Italian. I do feel that Dahang needs to reset and slow it just a tiny bit. He's trying to match Vengeur in these one-on-one engagements up close, and it's not working. So sticks to the mid ground, play a bit more of a distance game. There's still 6 minutes to go. It's a long, long time.
Starting to slow down the pace at least for a little bit now. Dahang's gone out on totem destruction duty and found all of them to eliminate them. Bam from Vengeur, he was waiting for the portal play and tried to punish with the burst damage in air. That's actually a while before Heavy was up as well, so he can swoop in and snatch that. Starting to play a whole lot more aggressive, and the timing looked like it was fantastic, but the response from Vengeur is absolutely amazing. It was an abysmal fight they got into in the end. Dahang was lucky to get away with his life, but Vengeur was even lower on the exit. Timing will save him. Just as the Mega comes up, he arrives on the scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty unfortunate. Dahang did catch Vengeur ever so slightly, but falling off, and he has got the dual wield out, but he's still very low as Vengeur gets the oversack, shall I say. Not going to save him this time. But once again, Dahang has taken so much damage in that engagement that it's difficult for him to press any sort of advantage. Vengeur takes positioning up on the Mega. Will win it.
It looks so rough as well, because I think he didn't expect himself to have so much momentum when he was moving on, because he dropped that totem, but had to push so much closer towards Dahang. So obviously the LG is going to be way easier once you get within that range. And the fight in the end ends up in this position. Dahang was able to outmaneuver Vengeur, got ahead of him, caught him off guard with a roadblock, and ties it up a little bit closer. 6-3 split on the frags as we hit the 6-minute mark.
He did. The use of the totem there did damage Dahang enough to offset any further momentum, and Vengeur probably has won himself to Heavy because of it. Seems like a small thing, but the impact is quite big in the grander scheme of the duel.
Okay, here we go. 2 shotguns, that's 4 barrels. Dead. Throwing his chances with the rockets, but they won't actually be bursting in the face of Vengeur just yet. But Dahang has got him trapped. You can see how he's flustered into this angle. He had to exit one of the ways, and Dahang will swoop down on top of him. Can't actually come out better off in that fight.
Yeah, Vengeur is very much on top in terms of stack because of all that damage that he managed to get out. Good rocket jump to get away there as well. Dahang is really struggling to lock down Vengeur as he just scuttles away. And every time Dahang decides to set a trap, Vengeur manages to get the upper hand in the engagement. And Dahang is living on the edge, and he will still go down. That is incredibly frustrating because it was the first time in the map for Dahang that he had a good stack and advantage, but every single time he had the pounce on Vengeur, somehow those defensive rockets and creative play won Vengeur the engagement. Not this time.
Dahang at least doing some of the groundwork, laying the foundation of a potential comeback into the game, and this is absolutely what he needs to do. Avoid taking as much damage as possible whilst fragging hard against Vengeur. He's chaining frags together, but he has to chase him down. Realizing that the Mega was up, instead halts, grabs it, grabs himself a light as well, so his stack is in a better position than what Vengeur could hope for. And he's only 2 frags off, so the over-aggression doesn't need to be there. It's just calculated plays, but the boop from the rocket sends him flying, and then he gets smited by Vengeur, and that is not the way it needed to go.
Yeah, the blessing in disguise for Vengeur before that was the fact that the Mega and the Heavy are still on the same timing. So he had the opportunity to steal away one major item, which gave him the stack to win that engagement. Dahang probably could have played it slightly more aggressively and taken that mid-ground position to try and block Vengeur's advantage and get both. Nevertheless, there is 2 frags to go, 1.5 minutes to do it. Dahang needs them, but he also cannot afford to take damage, which is why we see him being relatively cautious in this engagement, because whatever frag he gets, it has to be clean.
has that dual wield available. The Akimbo Assassin uses it because he wants to guarantee he gets a heavy. Didn't want to run the risk of that one being stolen from him this late into the game. It's still entirely possible that he can force this into a sudden death or take a frag lead here, but he needs to find Vengeur. It'll all be down to the final 60 seconds of the fight, and Vengeur is evading him for now. Up the bounce pad and spots him. The direct rockets are absolutely amazing, and there's the frag. Dahang, one frag left in the last 55 seconds.
Game on, he's found Vengeur. Vengeur's got up the jump pad, he knows where he is, and he's not going to be able to get away. It's all about how much damage can he do, and it is a lot!
That is indeed a boatload of damage, Dan. Dahang. Incredibly full smack, and he didn't see the rocket coming! Oh no! Vengeur with a clutch rocket. The rocket of the series, potentially. As that could be good game and good night for Dahang. He's tucked him into bed with a little kiss.
As I said, it's all about how much damage he can do, and because he did boatloads, he knew he could just push in for an easy frag, and Dahang completely unawares. Vengeur with the sport of a lifetime, and now it's just play keep away. Oh, Dahang, I feel so gutted.
Man, he had done all the hard work. He played it so smart as well. Like, there wasn't any over-aggression. It was only at the opportune moments. But the fight just left him way too low. It was the machine gun. The hits were just tearing through him, and that's all it took. That one rocket.
Why is it always Vengeur that leaves it to these kind of...
The last second, like, clutch play.
He's an entertainer. I think that's the one. He just wants to put on a show for everybody. Maestro Man then going to be happy as Vengeur takes a 2-0 lead in this 5-game series. Just one more on his home server now to take it away.
Every series we've had so far would be 3 maps if he wins this as well, which is wild, Dan. These are best of 5s between the best in Quake. What on earth?
Yeah, Dahang, he played that. I mean, he's quite an aggressive player, but it felt like he was over-aggressive for quite a lot of it, and gave away some unnecessary frags, which, in the grand scheme of things, potentially cost him the map. Yes, it was his avenue back into it, but it was just a step too far in the grand scheme of things. And then that one engagement when he catches Vengeur off, and Vengeur manages to do like nearly 150 damage with just a machine gun to his name. I don't know how he did that. And then the situational awareness from Vengeur to push in off the spawn. Lovely play.
All of that was on Dahang's server pick as well. So
exactly, yeah.
Like, this sets him up for success so much. You're going into your home server. Your choice.
This is the one here. Vengeur, look how much damage he does with just a machine gun.
Yeah, he gets him so low. He left literally on like 28 stack total.
And here, the rocket of the season from Vengeur.
Imagine if he just would have went for Mega rather than just running the risk of running straight towards that heavy. He might have still been alive. He might have kept himself into a sudden death. So many different possibilities, but none of them came true. Vengeur has been playing his heart out already, Dan.
Yeah, and he's looking amazing, to be fair. Like, he wants to go more than one step further than he's ever gone before, and he's close to doing it now as he's got this series in his palm of his hands.
I think he's got both hands on it. With the way he's been playing, so much of it's been perfect. And here's the interesting talking point about this last map as well. It's Vail, right? Awkward map in the sense of the close quarters angles, how tight the line of sight is for a lot of the champions that are in there. But there's one champion that excels because you've got that dire orb. You can use full verticality like it's nothing. And who's on that champion? Vengeur.
And we've seen how creative he is with those orbs as well. Ison is a pretty good counter. I'm becoming more and more fond of the Ison in general. Yeah, it's pretty good for the information and additional damage, but I don't know. This is going to be so tough for Dahang, and I'm not sure he has it in him after such a hard day for him so far. Not a single map win. Think of the mental strain that's going through his head right now.
Everything that must be bearing down on him, it's got to be an awful lot. Obviously a seasoned veteran of the game and esports in general, so I don't imagine it will be unnecessary pressure that he can't deal with, but it's certainly unwanted added pressure.
I mean, after getting pretty demolished by Cypher earlier in the day, and now struggling up against Vengeur as well. But one game at a time. We are on Vail. Nice Dahang there, realizing the teleporter was a dangerous option. Rocket jumping all the way up. They continue to trade items.
I'd be inclined to agree with you as well that Eisen is certainly useful on this map, probably more so than others, purely because you can just drop that turret down in so many of the rooms with the shutting doors that it makes your life so much harder to clear them out and gives him an early warning system. It's basically like a tripwire alarm.
Exactly, yeah. Plus, using it up on the teleporter, it's always good for additional damage. There's consistently one-on-one engagements up in the mega area just by the nature of the layout. So it always plays a crucial role, as that's a good rail from Dahang, but it could finish it off. Vengeur's slightly low, but still in a decent position.
Dahang was able to evade that and actually keep himself alive. It seemed like Dahang was setting himself up to hit him with the fly swatter, but Vengeur's just a little bit too quick and he flew himself out of the way of harm. Again, they get back into another altercation though. The peek from Vengeur's nice, that's good fadeaway damage.
Yeah, needed to do that. There was a slight spill on the major items, so Vengeur needed to have a presence up on the mega to delay Dahang's advances. Otherwise he would have lost out on both. Now Vengeur's got prime position and stack. Take full control of this map as he can patrol that high ground, force Dahang off the heavy. And Dahang needs to retreat here.
Rocket jumping his way around aggressively. Firing them off straight towards Dahang every time he gets the mega. So he's giving it to him, but he's at least making him pay for it in some overall flash damage on the way out. As that turret being used once again to zone and get info for Dahang. So he has that read and he's going to take it slow. Tiptoes his way back around as he skulks up on the ledge. No unnecessary peeks, just smart ones. That's a huge rail. And Vengeur's got to wait 6 seconds for heavy. So Dahang actually initiates. He plays with the timing. Vengeur's going to get the heavy, but his HP's way too low down. He's only got 30.
Yeah, but those rockets definitely stalled Dahang's progress. Nice play by Vengeur to take control of the high ground. Definitely the most important place to be. And you can see the use of that turret again as information. Additional damage, they do meet here down by the rockets. And that orb, Jackie, that orb.
Oh boy.
That was like 200 effective HP, because not only did he do damage, he dodged the rocket.
Dude, the orb is like one of the biggest talking points in Quake Champions at the moment, I feel. Just for how much versatility it has as a weapon, as a piece to relocate, and the fact it's up so quickly as well, especially if you're acting like Vengeur is now, just running around like a hoover, sucking up all of the hourglasses.
And everyone's sleeping on it. I think it was with Razy we were talking about, who said it's just the most overpowered feature in the game if you can use it to full potential, so...
Yeah.
Dahang's doing a good job so far. He's been under a lot of pressure, and it's still only 1-0, so keeping it close is definitely what he needs to be doing. He hasn't got any control, but he's done a good job of maintaining stack, doing a little damage here and there.
Rockets coming down. Vengeur sticking his nose in for a little bit of info. Does get the read, but he didn't expect the tri-bolt spam. He's taking a lot of damage from that. Dahang gets himself back up, and Scarpa's out of there. He's trying to cheese it. Oh, that was a lovely rail.
Yeah. Good rockets from Dahang. Vengeur needs to get out of there because he's weak.
Oh my. Dahang's rails are starting to come back online as well, Dan. He's doing an awful lot of damage. This is the best position he's had in terms of an overall lead of stack. Finally, he's got Vengeur low once more, but his is actually still in good nick. He should also get the heavy. So Dahang's finally getting control.
Can he lock down Vengeur? The answer's going to be yes. And that was clean.
Yeah, it could have been much worse. I thought that second rocket had done a whole lot more damage to Dahang, so probably the best possible outcome he could have had out of that fight, and ties up the scoreline. Means the game's going to be close the whole way through as well, because of course we're only 6 minutes into it. It's 1-1 apiece, and it could actually go 2-1 here. This seems to be quite a heavy commit from both of them. Dahang trying to deny control of the heavy. The constant rocket spam doesn't land though, and Vengeur gets away with it. That was a smooth flick.
Also feels like Dahang has taken his foot off the pedal a little bit relative to the first 2 games. Ooh, not happy. Where we did see him go hyper aggressive in some situations. So feels like he's been a bit more settled and methodical in his approach.
Worrying as well, because we've seen him express himself a lot with that railgun today. Like, you could see the visible shakes when he's missing some of these shots. I mean, he's been hitting some disgusting ones as well, but clearly the frustration's building once again.
But losing out on the last couple of exchanges does mean he's very much on the back foot. You can see him playing around that jump pad, wants to use the audio cues to work out what Vengeur's doing. Doesn't feel safe to commit for that light. Needs to get some degree of timing as well. What he's trying to do here with the audio cues. Got 2 exits, so as soon as he hears his opponent go one way, he will run the other. 1-0, doesn't need to make any reckless moves. Nice.
Beautiful use of the weaponry there. The quick switching was nice. You get the rocket to send him flying, and the railgun to really send home the message that you're not messing about. Ooh, does it again! The exact same situation!
Will he drop? I mean, this is the chance to drop Dahang, and he does, and he hits the rail. That was superb.
Reserved right until he needed to be aggressive. You can see he was debating it so heavily in his mind, and that railgun is really paying dividends for him. Doesn't have much ammunition left in it though. Only 5, but he'll try and make all of them count, as he's been cracking out 690s all day. As he comes through the teleporter though, he's nearly blown to smithereens down. Takes a lot of raw face damage, and Vengeur, the pressure is firmly put on him. Dahang has an additional frag up. We don't have much time.
No, not at all, but he needs to be careful. He's definitely learning very quickly how painful Vengeur's defensive rockets are, so doesn't want to overcommit, as you rightly say. He's got that frag advantage, but Vengeur's hitting back-to-back damage here, and Dahang just wants to get out unscathed.
Rocket after rocket, Dahang has him trapped. He knows there's no other exit for him. We'll have him low, hook, line, and sinker right where he needs him to be.
Dahang wants to finish it, but that full rocket will definitely set him back. He does have the Mega to retreat on, but he knows he's still got Vengeur on the ropes. What can he do?
He's going to go for down below again. He just drops down, Dan. The LG initiate. He could have gone for the rail transition as well, but he didn't. Baird repositions back around, and that's another heavy. The shotgun blast comes through. He's done so much damage onto Vengeur. He's low, and the tri-bolt might just finish him. It certainly knocks him even closer to death's door.
Oh, Dahang is taking quite a lot of damage from the acid.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that was nice. But look at what Vengeur does again. He is just the master of continuously dealing damage. Dahang was fully stacking, now he's extremely low. Are we going to get a repeat of the last map? Yes, we are, as they trade. But still, 2 frags. It's going to be a tough battle for Vengeur.
I mean, normally Vengeur's an absolute king at chaining kills together, but when Dahang does something like that straight off the bat, knowing that if you at least push the agenda on, then this map is over. And that's just what he does, Dan. He's taken this one firmly. We're going to another map. There's no other doubt about it. Vengeur, he's fallen short on Vail.
We have. Dahang has won the clutch map for his survival in this event on Vengeur's server. So we will be going back to Dahang's home turf, and also Dahang's pick as well, I believe.
Yeah, so all the chips are on the table for him. Obviously, your options then at that point are take the series 2-2 or drop it 3-1.
Yeah. But much more reserved from Dahang on that map. Quite easy to allow Vail to spiral, to go too aggressive, but he played perfectly. Vengeur did huge amounts of damage on the defense, and you can even see overall had more control on average. But Dahang, as we said, didn't overextend, and it definitely paid dividends. Once again, you've pointed it out so many times, that rail from Dahang is lifeline in the series.
It's been his biggest tool, I'd say, all tournament. Like, he's had so many openers with it and so many closers as well. We literally had the same play repeated twice in 30 seconds, I believe it was. You had the rocket opener, the rail to get him low. It happens again, once more after by the Mega Room. But then Dahang finally had enough confidence to go, you know what, I'm committing, drops down and just obliterates him with the rail.
That trade frag, I just realized, I think it was the turret MVP that finished off Vengeur and also did a huge amount of damage. So Eisen pick paying dividends for Dahang, and it's getting tense now. I mean, Vengeur will be pretty annoyed that I think he dropped that map as we move on to Awoken. Vengeur is playing the Sorlag, which I'm a big fan of. Hang on the Visor. I don't think Visor is the most impactful champion on Awoken, but somebody like Dahang and the information it brings, it's still proving to be a lot of value.
Well, he's already got the piercing sight in real life for those gunners.
This is a fact, as well as them living on Visor himself.
Exactly. But no, honestly, thinking about this in the sense of the champions we have available to us, Awoken's always a map that I would hedge my bets towards Vengeur, no matter what the instances are, because he's so proficient on the map, so aggressive, and it suits his play style. He looks like an absolute king when he's there, and also Sorlag's a champion that he thrives on. So you put those together versus a Visor, where its utility is limited at the best of times on a map like Awoken. I think this comes down to another position where the map and the champion suits Vengeur.
Yeah, no, I think if we think back, actually, this is Vengeur's pick of map, which explains a lot in terms of it being his traditional home map.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the Hang server, so one would expect him to feel just as confident moving into it. But you're completely right. Like, this, Vengeur has innovated strategy on this map, and I haven't seen him play Sorlag on it, so that's definitely something I'm curious to see how he plays the Big Lizard.
Well, who's going to win? One visory boy or a big lizardy girl as we get into the game between these two? Turn around with the shotgun, a little bit of a tag coming out initially to open things up. Vengeur's stack is ginormous compared to what Dahang has to play with as well. Luckily, that light armor will give him a little bit more power to work with. The rockets were so good, but Vengeur's was just a little bit more clutch.
That was amazing.
One hell of a way to start this map off.
Yeah, Vengeur is unrelenting with the pressure at the minute. As you said, the stack is ginormous, the aim is on point, and he wants to keep the pressure on Dahang. This is exactly the way Sorlag should be played. Speed and stack. Just get in your opponent's face. Take the game to them. Dahang, sorry, as Vengeur just waits out for this Mega, not knowing when it is. Does have timing now. Great little rail. That will set Dahang back from pressuring onto the heavy. Vengeur doesn't want the heavy. He wants a frag as he pushes Dahang through the doorway. Keeps his stack low. Oh my word.
Oh, hello. I mean, Vengeur just on a bit of a kill frenzy right now. All he wants is frags, and he's taken a fistful of them. Tried to rocket jump his way out of commotion, but was caught by the laser there of Dahang. That lightning gun snapping onto him and locking him in place so we could finally get a pick on the board. Here comes the vision as well. Knows exactly where he is. Tries to bait him out. Vengeur just sticks true to his guns and holds the opening angle. No push from Dahang. So they're both a bit paranoid now.
Lightly overconfident from Vengeur there as he gets caught mid-air by the lightning gun. That's never a situation you want to be in. No matter how big your stack is, you're never going to come up on top. But he has got position on the Mega, and Dahang obviously cannot push up here without taking a tremendous amount of damage. So just wants to try and deal something onto Vengeur as he works his way out. Ooh, that was close. You can see that Dahang's already figured out what Vengeur wants to do, but the problem is, can you prevent it? And the answer is yes, as Vengeur misses 2 or 3 shotgun blasts in a row. He needs to temper that aggression ever so slightly. He has been successful, but you don't want to be throwing away frags needlessly.
Tons of tags coming through. Dahang gets himself a Mega. The Arsenal's certainly there. He's a little bit low on both LG and Rocket though, so that might actually be quite a big talking point as he's using all of his rockets now in the opener of this fight. That's all of them gone. Has to switch his way back over to the LG, but he might just have enough to finish Vengeur. The railgun certainly comes in clutch, and it's still as good as it's been for him the whole day.
Yeah, and you can almost feel what Dahang's doing. He's trying to go Vengeur into these pushes. He's setting up for them. Because he knows what Vengeur's doing. He's just saying, come at me. Obviously that time Vengeur does get the initiative, but Dahang with the spawn means Vengeur is in a lot of trouble up here. Dahang knows how much trouble he's in. Does let him off the hook though.
Acid reflux coming through. Gets it all over the place. Vengeur close to actually falling short here, especially if these rails would have landed. It would have been in a whole world of pain. Also confidence in these fights, even when the stack is nowhere near in his favor. He went back towards Mega knowing that he needed it no matter what the outcome was, but low on ammunition didn't really help, especially the fact the stack was even slimmer. Dahang certainly thick when it comes to hitting these shots, as he is just head and shoulders above Vengeur at the minute. Taking a bit of damage from the damage over time, has to step into the bubble, heals that out, goes in with the nails, gets a heavy, and so much more damage done. This is really sending a message home to Vengeur.
Yeah, so much confidence from Dahang as well after that opener. He had no weapons beyond this nail gun to his name, and he still stands his ground. 3 major items in a row. Vengeur always will contest though. That's what he is particularly good at, is making sure he has a clear presence on the major items even when he's on the defense. Nice little rocket, will chip away at the Dahang stack, making him slightly less confident to push in for this heavy. He has bought enough time to pick up the Mega.
Jump shotting.
He still hasn't got a rocket though, so he really can't make any engagements onto Vengeur. It needs to be a priority for him to get a rocket, otherwise he's not in trouble, but if he gets caught, he's pretty much dead.
Still susceptible to a lot, and especially if Vengeur starts actually returning fire. But he's had a slip. That momentary lapse in concentration is the biggest talking point we've had out of this game so far. Dahang, it seemed like finally he was going to go down, but no. Rapidly responds, rises to the occasion, and now he's growing even bigger.
Vengeur got greedy, hitting those back-to-back rails. He wanted to get the kill so desperately and stood around for one rail too long, and Dahang makes him pay. But after a couple of minutes of dominance, Dahang is very much on the back foot now, as that Lizard has got herself a nice little tasty stack. And we've seen the way that Vengeur wants to play this map. He's not going to relent on his pressure. He's going to keep pushing, abusing that stack advantage. Quite happy to soak additional damage. That rocket nearly connects, but that rail definitely does.
Dahang is going to try and dance around the pole, but it will not matter in the end as he is fragged out. Vengeur ties up the scoreline, 5-5 apiece. Obviously, if he takes this map, he can overthrow him and win the series. Dahang has to basically have a reverse sweep from this point forward, so it needs to be so poised. They're fighting over control of the Mega. Dahang's brute force wins him it. He nearly went down to the spit damage over time, but he was just fast enough to grab a light health.
You can see the game plan from Vengeur. We've spoken about it extensively, but it's not working out. Dahang is meeting fire with fire. He's more than ready for these engagements. That time Vengeur gets it, but he's a little bit low. Has the heavy to fall back on. Definitely want Vengeur to try to rein it in ever so slightly, but that's not going to happen.
Just shot after shot. Both of them just trade so respectfully, one after another. Everything they do, the other one can do as well. It's crazy how close this game has been, and we're getting into the late stages of it now as well. There needs to be a clear lead taken at some point, surely. Vengeur, with the aggressive spit, sprays it all over the stairs and holds on the close angle, spamming rocket after rocket as he's terrified he's about to be executed on by Dahang.
Dahang's playing it so smart. He's taking up positions in that mid-range, so Vengeur can't initiate with the rockets. But he's also standing his ground, so he's not retreating, meaning Vengeur's always taking so much damage for these pushes. It doesn't feel like it's worth it quite a lot of the time.
At least the plays there were pretty good. Like the double rocket spam, expecting a push was smart. Unfortunately, the read only gets him so far, though, as Dahang went straight for a light armor pickup, then just waits from behind the teleporter, takes the shot on Vengeur as soon as he oversteps the mark, going for a heavy, and keeps the game so close. In the overall grand scheme of the stack, Vengeur finally gets away with a mega health, but it's instantly been buckled. Dahang's doing so much damage and trying to apply pressure.
Yeah, that rail was so crucial, because if he didn't hit that, Vengeur pretty much had a free setup onto this heavy. Now, because he did hit it, Vengeur has got an opportunity.
Oh no! He just kept peeking into it. He had such faith that he was going to eventually be able to take the rail and take the life of Dahang. But Dahang played it smart. If you're just going to jiggle peek me like that, I'll spam you a tri-bolt. I'll take you down. And this is going to cause a tantrum, cause a riot as well, as Dahang is still looking to fight more and more aggressively. Mega's not up for 20 seconds, and there's only 60 left in the game.
Absolutely, that's not the first time this series Vengeur's got too greedy with his rail. Dahang, as you rightly said, just peeking, spamming out the tri-bolt. Oh, now he's in a lot of trouble. Oh, not sure why he went through that teleporter. That was a weird decision from Dahang.
I mean,
He's in a bit of trouble now, as Vengeur is definitely, he smells blood. He wants to finish this series here and now.
It's still sudden death at the very least. Him tying that up doesn't guarantee anything. It just means that it's not a map loss. Look how bold he is. He needs to calm it down. You can't be playing this aggressively this late into the round. He's trying to take the win before we even go to a sudden death. Whereas Dahang takes an awful lot of damage. Vengeur's flicks with the rail need to be precise. He hits him, but he's already got the heavy. As he jumps up the bounce pad with 4 seconds remaining on the clock. Vengeur will kill him, and the Maestro Madman sends him packing. He's done it, Dan.
Every time we watch Vengeur, we end with the heart in my mouth. Oh my god. That was a bizarre map, though. In all honesty, that was a bizarre map.
The amount of like over-aggressive peaks we saw from Vengeur, the amount of risking it all. It's like if he was playing roulette, he just kept going all in, all in, all in, all in. Like, please stop, you're going to lose all your money, what are you doing? But he just didn't give a damn.
He just bet on black all day long, and it's completely the reverse of what we saw from yesterday. He just didn't want to relent.
No.
And quite often, to his peril. That was insane. I don't know what you guys thought, but that was crazy.
I think you took the words out of my mouth, ZSX. This idea that Vengeur was kind of like the slowest paced player that we'd really seen yesterday, and it almost felt like his mission today was to be the complete opposite. But he made us worry a fair few times on that final map. The fact that he just kept kind of peeking his way around these corners and instances where I think everyone watching it is like, oh, what are you doing? And it worked a couple of times, but yeah, ultimately getting the last laugh at the end of the day, Dahang, I'd say sent home, but he's already home. That was a crazy final map.
Yeah, Vengeur definitely looking solid, but on the other hand, as you've all been saying, kind of worried about him. I feel like he might be able to get away with some of these shots against Dahang, but if he goes up against his next opponent, which is Kilson, that might turn out very differently. Continuously going for these extremely risky peaks and putting himself in these make it or break it all positions, that could very easily backfire.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was just, some of them were greedy, some of them were foolish, really. But, I mean, all credit to Dahang. He was under huge amounts of pressure from a very, very stacked, heavy champion running at him. And he adapted and held his ground and met fire with fire to take it right to the wire.
Honestly though, I actually kind of don't know if this overconfidence from Vengeur and this sort of level of aggression that he's taken to the server could be a bit of a kryptonite against a player like Kilson. Maybe there's a possibility that he's not going to be ready for it, expecting it to not continue on, obviously, into that match where you're this late into the tournament. There's be so much more pressure on you, so much more reason to show respect. But that's just not what we've seen. Vengeur just looks like he's still just playing it as if it was any other match, just playing how he wants to, setting his style now.
Yeah, and as we see in the first minute and a half, we thought Vengeur was going to walk away with a very easy victory, but Dahang had other ideas. But to your point, Jackie, I don't imagine that type of tempo will happen against Kilson. He's far more familiar with the way Kilson plays. As Flea rightly points out, Kilson will definitely punish this more than Dahang did. Dahang did a great job at it, but Kilson's another level in terms of mechanical skill. So we know how versatile Vengeur is, and he will definitely mix up the strategy when he moves into his next match.
You can always expect wild things when the two regions collide, and let's also not forget that Vengeur and Kilson clash pretty regularly in the online world thanks to Pro League and the weeklies that come through, so...
Yeah, absolutely, but it was super fun to watch from start to finish. We saw... I think like we said every single time we watch Vengeur, something mental happens.
Yeah.
He's a strange little fella.
Absolutely the case. I was kind of hoping we would still get to see that 5th game though. The clutch versus the scale bearer on Molten Falls. You know, I'm happy that at least it wasn't another trio, but still that would have been a beautiful game, no doubt.
You're crazy that that's like actually only our first map where we haven't had a trio as well. And that was only 4. Like, it's ridiculous how quick these games have been with the level of caliber we have up to play with. And yeah, like that last peak that came through, the final like 15 seconds of that game was the most sort of physically like, what's happening sort of game I've seen. It really did hit you.
Well, we have the opportunity to refresh things now, just even the downtime from this series, you know, the interview, the break and all that stuff. If there are some kind of jitters there on Vengeur's side, this is going to be more than enough time to kind of shake those off, as it were. But Vengeur, he is one of those up-and-comers. I know he's been a real top-level player in Quake Champions for a while now, but it's always wonderful to see. Like, this is his breakout Quake game. This is potentially his breakout tournament. We know he's trying to surpass top 4.
Yeah.
He's one step closer to it, but yeah, got to be careful with those nerves, I think. That second to last replay where he's peeking a tri-bolt and just walks right into it, like that makes us all nervous.